Yeah, we've got a small group today, but I'm excited. Hopefully we will get some more to join us in just a few minutes. And I know we still have one or two still connecting to audio, but that's all right. We'll look forward to being able to hopefully see their faces shortly as well. So just wanted to do, we have a short agenda today. I
have a little special treat at the end I'll share with people if we have time.
Awesome. So I just wanted to do some quick welcomes and introductions for those, because we've got some folks that are new to the calls or that we haven't had a chance to see in a while. So it's really good to see some of your faces. I'm looking at you, Sandy. It's really good to see your face. I haven't seen you in a while. Guard, you as well. Sue. It's nice to see those of you who I have seen. I'm always excited to see all of you. But I just wanted to touch base and see how everybody's doing. And I think the question that we talked about yesterday was, how are you managing your resilience?
And how are the skills helping in that management?
How are the skills helping?
And it looks like Shane's going first by showing us that he's riding his bike indoors.
Because he can't go out.
Exactly.
That's a game changer as far as I'm concerned, being able to actually be outside. So if you're willing to share with the group any thoughts you might have, let's start with quick intros and where you are in the world. Just because some of you don't know each other maybe and haven't seen each other in a while. I'm going to start with Charlotte, AKA Cliff, because he's first up on my screen actually. So Cliff, if you could tell us who you are and where you are in the world, I would love it.
I'm Cliff Kirch's Charlotte's grandfather. And I am in deep South Texas, Corpus Christi. It's beautiful here. Drinking South Texas Perrier, which is Topo Chico. And life is good. There's one thing I learned in Las Vegas. Some people aren't here because they took Rebecca's interpretation of namaste and they just woke up and said, nah, I'm going to stay in bed.
I'm gonna stay in bed. I'm gonna stay in the house.
Nice. Thanks, Cliff. It's good to see you. Mohammed, you're next on my screen.
Good day, everyone. Mohammed, level 1 facilitator, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And yes, life is good. So far, so good. And I'm trying to stay resilient, mostly indoors. And I'm finding that offering the CIT online is actually helping me stay focused. And so I'm enjoying that. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Mohammed. Sandy, you're up next on my screen. You're muted though. Here, let me unmute you real quick. Oh, I can't unmute you, Sandy. Can you unmute yourself? Oh no.
There.
Yes.
There she is.
Good.
There I am. But I have a different head though.
I know. I love it.
Oh, there I am. Oh, it's so good to see you. Oh my gosh. My name is Sandy. I'm on Vancouver Island in a small town, Port Alberni. And I'm passing on the grounding, tracking, and resourcing skills to everyone here that I talk to. I utilize them myself all of the time, and everyone I talk to and pass on, they utilize them and they're really happy. And I'm so thankful for those skills. They're wonderful to give to people.
They are.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm doing great. Started a sacred space here and just began an interfaith meditation group. So
nice.
yeah.
That's awesome, Sandy.
That sounds awesome. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Ken, you are up next on my list.
Good. It's nice to see everybody, even Charlotte. I'm not there today. I'm at my home, but it's most especially nice to see Rebecca, Kaylee, and Shane. Thought about y'all often while we've been going through the last 10 weeks of this. And all I can say is the timing on that is absolutely perfect because it prepared us with something to do for these weeks of resiliency.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's true. Thank you, Ken. It's good to see you too. Guard, you're on my screen.
Well, welcome from Las Vegas, Boulder City specifically. Lost one of my best friends last Tuesday in New Jersey
I'm
to
sorry.
the virus, and I've been learning resiliency through actually the experience of common humanity and mourning.
Mm.
And that has been a very powerful opening, as well as meditation practice and yoga and energy work. So yeah, we've just started a podcast, Compassionate Las Vegas podcast, which I don't know if I'm able to send that all to you, but we will connect you with it.
Sure, please feel free.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm sorry for your loss, Guard.
Yeah.
Sue, you are on my screen next.
Hello, so nice to see everyone. I'm Sue Gilman. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, level 1 facilitator. I have been extremely busy. I'm the director of the Atlanta Shambhala Meditation Center. And a few weeks ago, we closed the center, which was like such a massive ordeal and so time consuming. It seems like you close something, you just close it and walk away, right? No, not how it works. And then of course we pivoted to a lot of online offerings. So I have been a busy girl, but doing great.
Good. Good to hear.
Good, I'm glad. Kaylee, you're up next.
Awesome. I'm Kaylee, and I live in Vermont in the US, about an hour, 45 minutes or so south of the Quebec border, so almost up in Canada. What am I doing to stay resilient? I think just focusing on like what's happening in the here and now that is part of reality and not kind of just speculation of what's going on in the world, because I think when I get into that mode, it's easy to just kind of get lost. And although I do like to be aware of what's going on, what really helps is to just ground into having dinners with my family and spending time with my son and with my partner and being with my dog. I think my dog really inspires me because he doesn't know what's going on out there. He's just happy living life day to day. So that helps. Just staying present in the moment. And then of course, being of service, whether through CIT or, I also work in another arena, and I'm working with students and teaching them coaching skills and health and wellness coaching and concepts. And that's been really helpful too, just staying connected to my sense of purpose and giving. Sue, I'm close to Burlington, Vermont. I think that's it. It's good to be with you all. I don't think I've been able to actually make any of these monthly check-in calls, so it's nice to see some faces.
Yes, it is. Thank you. All right, Shane, I don't know if you have the ability to, nope. Okay, so Shane is in Madrid.
I can unmute you. Is that what you're saying? Yes. Here we go.
Thanks, Michael. Thank you, Jennifer. And it's super to see everybody. I know that Michael certainly thinks that I'm showing off every time I get on the bike. But it's an apt question. What are you doing to manage your resilience? Because this is just one of the things. But I'm cycling home to Ireland right now, and I'm 50k in today. But I need another 20k before the clock strikes 12. So one of the things, you'll hear the police sirens outside because it's just struck 8 o'clock here in Madrid, and there's about 50 more police going down the hill just outside. But it's a solidarity clock every evening. My wife, my partner here, she lost 2 of her favorite teachers in the last couple of days here, and a lot of community members have been lost to the virus in our community here. So it's a really challenging time, but we're really finding what we need to do to dig deep, and apart from all of the practices and skills in CIT, which is a big apart from, because it plays a big role in keeping me and my family resilient right now. But yeah, writing, annoying people with my poetry for some of the time, and trying to be physical as much as possible, and keeping the hope going and trying to stay connected in sense of solidarity, because We know this is a cliche at this stage, but we are in this together. So I'm cycling home to Ireland with my family, and I have another 2,200 kilometers to go in the next 30 days. So 32-day challenge. And it's not just showing off, because you'll see, sadly, me sweating, getting more profusely as we go on. But I'm really, really happy to be here. And I'm doubling up with mental health and connection with everybody here as well. So great to see you all.
Excellent. Thank you, Shane.
Yeah, Shane's working on an effort with fellow Irish people from around the world who are all trying in some way to get home, and so symbolically they're putting in the miles, in the kilometers, either on stationary bikes or running or something, in order to help keep them going. So,
Wow.
Yeah. Pam, if you would be willing to share, please.
There. Hi, I'm Pam Lewis. I'm in Houston. Hi, Cliff. I have heard your name, but have not met you, so it's good to see you here. This week will be Skill 4 that Carrie and I are doing here in Houston by Zoom, and it's really an intriguing experience for me, who could never imagine myself doing Zoom. And I can very honestly say that I don't see how one person could ever lead CIT on Zoom without a co-facilitator. So I'm so happy that Carrie finished her training when she did. We are finding it, I think, so valuable for the people who are taking the class now, and all of it is just, you know, was completely unexpected. And even as we uncover some of the skills that we're teaching, we see the impact that this particular time has on the content of a certain skill. For example, self-compassion that we're preparing for tomorrow night. So it's very, it's so helpful to have this as a focus for me, and to realize that it is possible to teach CIT by Zoom. So thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Anya, are you willing to share?
Of course. So I'm assuming the question was, how are we dealing with resilience in the last week? Because I was unfortunately a little bit late. I had to find a space where I'm not disturbing anyone, because we somehow spread in the places where I usually Zoom. And
tell us where you are too.
I'm sorry?
And where are you in the world?
Yeah.
That was the other thing.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I'm based in Berlin, and I'm still trying to establish CIT in Germany, in German, trying to find people, etc. But how did I deal with resilience? So I did a lot of resourcing lately, and I'm also sharing it with people who did resourcing somehow before, but didn't know that it's that they did it. So, for example, I'm meditating with my mom via Zoom on a regular basis, and I really enjoy that. I'm doing it with my kids here, and it helped me also a lot to calm down. I'm looking a lot. I'm changing perspectives a lot, and I find myself being very grateful for what we've got here, that so far, knock on wood, my parents and my family here, my husband, my 2 daughters, we are all healthy. And I told myself I'm just trying to seize the moment and be very happy for every healthy day we've got. And this is also, giving me a lot of gratitude for every day, and I really calm myself down in just seeing baby steps, and it's all, everything got much slower in a way, but more hectic on other fields, and I really enjoy the quietness I gain through several tools from CIT, in fact.
Thank you, Anya.
And by the way, if you go to the media section on our website, you'll see an article that Anya wrote and published in the German version of the Positive Psychology magazine. I butchered that, I'm sure, but go there, take a look. It's in German. I have no idea what it says.
And I won't tell you.
Thanks, Anya. Judy, you're up next on my screen.
Hello, I'm Judy Bryant, and I'm here in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, which is about 4 or 15 minutes south of the New Hampshire border in the United States. And we are well. My whole family is doing well. In terms of keeping my resiliency, self-compassion in that, you know, if I need to nap or whatever, I found that I need to nap more. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm not sleeping as well at night, so I just feel like I need to nap more during the day. So I've decided that that's okay, and I'm not going to feel guilty about that. I have been reading even more different spiritual practices and offerings from different people that I respect. So I've been really enjoying different perspectives on that. And I really, well, two things. I haven't been watching as much of CNN. I started watching CNN the day after the inauguration 3-something years ago, and I have been shutting it off lately because they, every time, the show that I watch in the morning, every time it comes on, there's this deep purple background with a bunch of coronavirus, you know, images floating around, and all they talk about are people dying, and it's just not helpful. It is so not helpful. So I've not been watching that, and I think that's a good thing. And technology. I can't believe how much Zooming I've been doing. I mean, and just being completely amazed at how connected everyone is staying. Right down to the fact that as a pastor of, well, pulpit supplied pastor, it's not actually my church, but I've been preaching at this church for 10 months, and we had Zoom Easter worship, and I think it went pretty well, all things considered, you know. So, you know, just maintaining, and what I talked about was that we're hearing a new song, you know, the new song, and comparing it to the, you know, the whole resurrection thing, but just that idea of we're hearing just new songs, new stories that we're being called to share and lift up, and just in the beauty of their, you know, the ideas, for instance, of the pollution's going away. It's just made me feel really good, and wondering how we can make that last, but kind of pessimistic about it.
Thanks, Judy. Carolyn/Carrie.
Hi, everyone. I am Carolyn/Carrie. I'm in Houston, Texas right now, and I have some good news, which is my 2 best friends recovered from coronavirus after a month of 101 to 104 degree temperatures every day, without any, luckily no visits to the hospital. My husband and I suspect we had it, but our tests came back negative. We were tested quite late after our symptoms, but we also, you know, we had all the symptoms. So who knows? Maybe the antibody test. What's that?
There's a lot of false negatives.
Yes, yeah. So, and, you know, so, I mean, really wonderful news there. So it's not all bad. And I've just been so blessed to be, you know, to be fortunate enough to have CIT and to be able to work with Pam at the Young Center here in Houston. We have a wonderful cohort, and it's just, I just feel every day my resilience grows, and my practice grows just exponentially when I don't feel any anxiety. I don't feel any of the things that I know that I would have felt just probably 10 months ago before I started CIT. And I just, you know, extol its virtues everywhere, and I can't wait to be able to facilitate it. I have so many friends and colleagues, and I'm very connected to a bunch of political and social groups here in Houston, and people are just clamoring for this. So I'm really excited to be able to just pollinate this and extend this to give people these tools of resilience. And for myself, this is a really central thing that I do, but I also am blessed to have a beautiful garden, a huge square foot garden with like 500 plus square feet, and just cultivating that as I cultivate my own mental and emotional landscape. It just feels very poignant and poetic, and I feel so blessed to have that as an outlet. And I'm writing and I'm reading more than I ever have, and I just feel that this time of quietude and disconnection yet deep connection has just been, it's transcendental for me, at least. And I think in a lot of ways for society in general, some beautiful things will come out of this after all of this suffering. And I just hope we can all hold that in our hearts and keep spreading that message to people and have the courage to share it over and over.
Thank you.
No doubt.
Thanks, Karen. A couple more. We've got Barbara.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I've been, let's say, inhabiting the observer consciousness a lot. So
Barbara, it's a little hard to understand you. I don't know if it's where your mic is, but it sounds like something's like running across it.
Oh, okay. How's that? Is that better?
Yes, much better.
All right. So I'm just inhabiting the observer consciousness a lot of the time. I'm just observing things, kind of observing at a distance too, I guess. Just looking at, it's kind of a study in human nature in some ways. And I agree with Carolyn that there's going to be some things that come out of this that I think are going to be very positive. This seems to have amplified whatever traits people have. It seems to have amplified them. And it's just curious. And as far as staying resilient, it depends, because I have a medical background, and I got a letter recruiting nurses, and I can't, because I have now a autoimmune disorder, I can't, I used to work with ventilators, so I can't do it now. So part of my heart is really with the healthcare workers and the things that I know they're going through, because I know that arena so well. And then I observe other things. So I'm just trying to stay in this observer mode, and I'm working on some programming for the Charter for Compassion. And when I need to get outside, I either I walk my neighbor's dog sometimes. And I've been, as an artist, I've been drawing chalk drawings on the sidewalk, and what it is I keep repeating this theme of the blue marble, the earth as seen from space, and I keep repeating that wherever I happen to see a place to put it, and then I just put "you are here," because I really think that's the message right now. So, and that keeps me sane, I think. I miss you all, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Barbara. We have two more. So Merida.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Merida. I'm in Mexico, in Monterrey. And how have we been going through this? How has resilience helped me especially? For me, CIT has been very important. I was giving the end of CIT, the last sessions, whilst it all began. And all that systems and really helped me understand what was going on and how to cope with it. And when that ended, I kind of automatically, they came to me, these big groups of meditators who are doing mass meditations worldwide. So I kind of joined them and in all their preparation and then final meditations. So I've kind of that's what I've been doing basically is trying to get this positive feeling inside of me and also to share it with everybody else. We know how powerful meditation is. So I think that's where it's going and what I have been able to do at the moment.
Great. Thank you, Merida. And last but not least for our participants, Sheila.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sheila. I live in the Western Mountains of Maine in the United States. And our family's doing well. I feel very blessed for that. We've had no concerns. I have family in California as well as out here in Maine. We're all doing well. It's definitely past couple of weeks have challenged me to dig very deep to find compassion, and also has taught me to look for ways to calm my mind and body. So I've been doing a lot of resourcing. We've been remodeling our house for about 8 months now, and a couple weeks ago our contractor passed away. And then we got hit with a major snowstorm here and lost power for a couple of days. So, and it's just seemed like it was one thing after another, and I had to stop and say, okay, I have the tools now to be able to deal with this. So I've started taking walks, and I'm blessed to have a lake about 1.5 miles away. So I walk to the lake, I listen to the birds, and I sit and resource and I track, and I feel so much better when I get back. And so it's just a matter of stopping for a minute, pausing and saying, I do have the resources to get through all this. And I feel really blessed to have those resources from CIT. So doing good.
Excellent. Glad to hear that, Sheila.
Yep.
And I see that Martha Ann joined us. And Martha Ann, you want to say hi and where you are in the world?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
All right. Thank you. I am grateful that I just bicycled along the San Antonio River, which made me a little bit late. Greetings to everyone. We have such an active city. We have a compassion class going on Monday night. Last night, I facilitated Skill 5 on Thursday mornings. We worked together to have a Compassion Institute for teachers of all ages. Also, our mayor, who is very devoted to compassion, 7:30 to 8:30 on Thursday morning, gathers faith leaders to talk about how can we really encourage good habits in our faith communities and be more compassionate. So, and social justice leadership, which I teach to university students, I'm trying to do some basics of compassionate integrity training. So Jennifer, Michael, Rebecca, who's been great with us, grateful to all of you.
Thanks,
Martha
Martha.
Ann. And we are working on I'm assuming the Compassion Institute you were talking about is a very audacious plan to try to bring CIT, C-Learning, and Think Equal to all of the teachers in San Antonio. So we'll keep you guys posted on how that proceeds.
All right. I don't know if Michael, Rebecca, Kristen, if you all want to share anything, please feel free.
Well, I'll just throw in, much like Muhammad, I'm just grateful to be involved in CIT right now. So I'm grateful to Martha Ann and their group that asked for a little help transitioning to online from an on-site class. So that was very fortuitous, I think, for me. And I'm also very grateful for all the familiarity that CIT has brought me with Zoom, because it's come in great handy at Life University since we've gone online this quarter. So I think I'm maintaining resiliency in those ways. The morning meditation that we're doing at Life, the resiliency classes that CIT is doing, and just sort of in general, like Carrie, thinking about this as the apocalypse, in the sense that the Greek root for that word is the unveiling. And I think we're being shown a lot right now. So I think of it as a sort of a beneficial apocalypse at this point. So hopefully I can keep seeing the beneficial part.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah, I just want to, chime in. I like what Kaylee said about having a purpose and connecting with a purpose and serving. That really helps me feel strong right now. And yeah, I'm curious to see what we're going to learn as a entire culture around the globe. So hopefully something good.
Me too. Me too. Thanks, Kristen.
And I'll just add, I've been using a lot of skill 3 and 4, doing a lot of trying to just cultivate equanimity with the rising and falling of the different kinds of mental states, and recognizing the ones that are particularly unhelpful right now, and how to just try to step back and observe those, and just give some space to myself to have greater self-compassion. And so I've been leaning on those two quite a bit over the last few weeks. So, and just like you guys, grateful that we have these skills that have come to us from many different rivers. So.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Michael. So just a reminder, I did share the agenda. Nope, I did not share the agenda with you all. I shared it with some of my colleagues yesterday to see if there was anything to add. So reminder that we have updated PowerPoints. So for those of you who are facilitating classes, or even just using the resources to share with family members, I know that some of you are teaching or facilitating a class with family. I'm attempting to try to work up the nerve to get some of my family members to do that with me. I think I have some who would do it, so I think I'm trying to do it in smaller chunks instead of a 2-hour segment, because my family gets together every Sunday night on Zoom. So just thinking about ways I could make it smaller for those that are able to join us. So the PowerPoint slides on the website are the most current and up to date. So please make sure that you download those for your courses, and might I suggest clicking through them so that you know what some of the changes are. Shane's nodding his head. We had a conversation about this yesterday. Even those of us who knew the changes were coming, when you're clicking through a slide and you're like, wait, what's that supposed to say? Or what does that mean? So go through and make sure that you've got the most up-to-date version, and that you understand the changes, the additions, the new information. And of course, if you have any questions, just reach out, let us know, and we'll be happy to walk you through some of the new information. It's just relabeled in some cases. I don't know, Michael, if you want to add anything else to that.
No, that was great. It should be pretty self-explanatory. There's extensive notes, and in some cases we've updated the videos. In most cases we haven't, because they're not as extensive changes as would need that. So, and again, reach out to us if you have any questions about it.
Yeah, I'm happy to walk you through those. Some reminders about the resiliency programs that CSICE and the Charter for Compassion are doing. We have 2 different programs. One is on Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, 4 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. And then, of course, on Fridays, there's a 9 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time and 2:30 India Standard Time. So we're trying to get both parts of the world represented.
And if
Michael,
you haven't seen this here, if you go to the website or point friends and family to the website, along the bottom of every page, there's this yellow banner. And if you click on the general, then you'll get the information about how to register for these if people want to join them, as well as the we have recordings of each of the 2 different time zones. You'll see Anya and Shane popping up there because they're leading the ones in the other time zone. And then if you click here, parents and caregivers, you'll see that we have, again, information on registering as well as some videos. Look at that. We got Jennifer's children in on the action. So, and you can obviously go back and watch those if you'd like. And what we're trying to do with those, if you haven't participated, is we're not going deep into the CIT content, but what we're doing is we're just giving an overview of some of the ideas, but then focusing in on practice and giving people a place to come and gather and share. And so far we've covered, and we even cover the Help Now strategies, which are a part of the community resilience model that we don't incorporate into CIT other than a little bit in the facilitator guide. So we've covered that. We've covered grounding, tracking, resourcing. We've covered focused attention practice. And this week we're going to add in the concept of harmful and beneficial mental states, and we'll do a practice of resting the mind in its natural state.
So there you go. That's where the resiliency programs are. You can look for more information, and of course you can register. We are going to be discontinuing.
And they're free. When I heard the term register, I started thinking, wait, we don't charge for them, but yes.
We don't. They are free, but you do have to sign up so that you can get the Zoom link so that you can participate. So if it's something you're interested in or want to point people in that direction, let us know. We will be discontinuing the parent/caregiver kiddo resilience sessions, or just finding a way to be able to share the resources, either posting them online. And we'll do that after the 6 sessions. We had our 1 session today, and there was 1 person, and she was really just there kind of get more information and have conversation. So I dismissed my co-facilitators and their resource posse, and we just had a conversation. So the information is available, and if folks want or need the resources for parents to share with children, the whole point of it was to try to get parents and children to do it together, or caregivers and children to do it together, because there's so many caregivers and kids home with each other and under the same roof, and potentially butting heads and maybe clashing. Not that that would ever happen in my house. I'm just saying that other people may be experiencing that. So I'm just, sharing that as point of reference. Again, not that that would ever happen in my house, but just saying. But the resources are there. So if you know folks who need the resources, you can point them in that direction. And of course, if we need to record some additional sessions, we'd be happy to do that if they'd be helpful to folks. And we're going to unmute Shane, and we're going to talk about the Global Education Network classes that are beginning on April 20th. So I'll unmute you, Shane, and you can feel free to share.
And I can cover for you, Shane, if you
need.
Good. It's really grand. And just to reiterate, for those resiliency sessions, the extra ones, I think they're great for us as well as facilitators to practice. I'm really enjoying participating on a Wednesday and then co-facilitating on a Friday. So if you have the time, I think they're very, very much worth it. And yeah, so something else that Jennifer mentioned that came into my head, the updates of some of the components of CIT, I think they've never been more apt, particularly the likes of one that comes to my mind, from sympathetic joy to empathic joy that we're now calling it. It's a subtle difference, but being able to practice empathic joy on a daily basis for me has really got, as one of the components, has really assisted. And so, yeah, it actually helps to really reiterate the skills that we're using every day, and then hopefully reach out to more people. So when it comes to the education program, I'm really excited to be co-facilitating with Marilyn from the Charter for Compassion. It's starting, thanks Marilyn, whoever put that up. It's starting next Monday, and we're going to be connecting with 2 different time zones. We'll be doing it on Monday and a Wednesday in terms of GMT time. I have the times here, but it's 9 a.m. GMT and then 9 p.m. GMT on a Monday to connect with the cohort in North America, Australia, New Zealand, Oceania, and then also we've got another time then for Europe, Africa, Middle East, and Asia. So we're really excited. We're ambitious about this particular training. It's going to be over 5 weeks and twice a week rather than the traditional 10-week online course. And then there's going to be a number of follow-ups, which we can see here on the screen, that will be additions to the CIT. So we'll be creating a support network of educators from around the globe. And really, what excites me most is that there's never been a need, in my opinion at least, for educators, for teachers, and we're using educators quite broadly. It can be K through 12, it can be university educators, or it can be non-formal educators. So if you know people that could do, and I think everybody right now could do with the training that we're offering, without sounding egoistic about it, but particularly knowing that young people and students coming back in September, October time, you know, their resilience might be off the charts. So if we can give people, educators, some extra skills for themselves, number one, to manage this very challenging period, but also then to have some tools, some compassionate tools to be able to work in collaboration with C Learning. So we're working with C Learning on this. We're recommending that the educators first take the CIT, first the 10 skills, and then they take the online version of the C Learning. So we're collaborating with Brendan and his team there. And then we'll be offering extra seminars, workshops, and some support opportunities as well. So in addition to hopefully encouraging people to take the facilitator training. So just a number of comments came when everybody was checking in, but the likes of Caroline, or Carl/Caroline in Houston, you mentioned that you've got a lot of friends and colleagues and people that you're dying to share these skills with. If you and the rest of the people on board today, if you can share in the next 6 days with your colleagues, friends, family, that there's this opportunity coming up starting next Monday, it'd be fantastic to have as many people from word of mouth as possible, because it really helps to get the conversations going. And I think it's like we're just finishing skill 10 this week, this Thursday, myself, Anya and Ben, and the conversations that are coming out of those classes, those sessions, are just incredible to be part of, and as a facilitator, very humbling. So hopefully we'll get a full house across the globe and build on that global education network going forward as well. But maybe Michael and some of my colleagues here might want to share a little additional hopes or ambitions for that course. But please, we do need your help, so we can send on emails, we can get them out to you, and the link is on the website, of course. I'm knackered.
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane. The only thing I'll add is we're also working on additional fundraising. As we've mentioned on calls before, we do have a grant that's enabled us to, among other things, bring Shane on and to fund some courses out there, and will help go to support the course that Shane's talking about now. But we're starting a concerted effort both with the Charter for Compassion and our development office at Life University to start targeting education as an area of funding that we can then turn around and grant to our facilitators to be able to support the facilitator network going out and actually being the boots on the ground to be able to bring this to people and bring this to educators. So more on that to come.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Shane. Alumni calls. So those have been going, at least in the US, on the East Coast and on the West Coast of the US, those have been going really well. We've had somewhere between 15 and 17 folks. I know that Europe has been, we've been disappointed because we haven't had a whole lot of folks in Europe being able to participate. And we've had just a small handful in Australia and that part of the world. But the folks who are participating really seem to enjoy the reconnection with CIT. So our next alumni call is April 20th. It's next week. And if you have not already received an email, then one will be coming out in the next couple of days with the Zoom link and the time frame. We do that at 7 p.m. wherever you are in the world. So for example, it's 7 p.m. So if I'm in New York, that is 7 p.m. Eastern. If I live out in Seattle, that is 7 p.m. Pacific. It is 7 p.m. in Madrid. It is 7 p.m. in Tasmania. So depending on where you are in the world, and I'm probably going to have to start memorizing GMT. I think I just finally got certain time zones down pat that I know exactly what time it is in any part of the US and in India and Australia. And then somebody says, well, I'm not in that part of Australia. And I'm like, wait, how many hours difference are you? So may start having to use GMT as our standard, but right now it's 7 p.m. Eastern, Pacific, Madrid, which I think is Central European, and Tasmania. So those are the areas. They've been a lot of fun. So April 20th, I think somebody just put them in the chat. April 20th is our next one. And then May 26th is the one after that. So we have April and May already on the calendar. And then the last two things on my agenda before Michael has something he's gonna hopefully share with all of us is, are there any classes that are moving online that maybe need some additional assistance? I know that some of you said you were moving online or have already moved online. I know I have somebody in Portugal who's already moved, finished a class that had already started when they went into quarantine, and finished that class and is now starting a new class online. And she is good to go. She's ready to rock and roll. I know Mohammed is working on a class that's going to be online. Pam, we moved online, so San Antonio. So are there other folks that are needing to move online and need some assistance? That would be one. And then of course, just how can we support you as you support your communities? So if there's any questions or thoughts, then please feel free to unmute, jump in, and let us know.
I just wanted to mention that Rebecca was super helpful yesterday, helping me figure out how to do Zoom CIT. The next group that's interested in taking it, they can't meet as all of us at the time. So thank you, Rebecca, again.
Good, good. Thank you. I'm glad that that was able to happen.
Yeah, Rebecca's
Especially because the
been
population
amazing. Rebecca, as well as others on this call and others outside, but Rebecca has been truly amazing at jumping in and supporting San Antonio, supporting other cities, and supporting, you know, all of our facilitators and the life community at the same time. Just, I'd stop asking her to do things because she'll say yes, and I don't want to overwhelm her.
Yes, she would. So is there anything else that you all may need from us that you could think of? I mean, certainly if you don't know anything right now, you can reach out at any point, but anything we can do to support you as you're supporting your communities?
Okay, I'm gonna,
Sandy, wait, go ahead.
yeah, oh, go ahead. You're on mute, Sandy.
Where am I?
There you are.
Yeah, good?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm in the middle, when this whole thing started, I just finished having a cataract operation, so I'm struggling with sight. So it's very difficult for me to be going online right now, and I don't know what else to do except just keep checking in and letting you know I'm here, and doing other things that I've already started so that I'm minimally online. If you have any suggestions as to how a semi-sighted person can keep going, I'd be more than welcome to hear.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely, I'll think about it and see if there's anything specific, but I think to start doing what you're doing and just checking in with this and making sure that, you know, checking in and seeing how you're doing and letting us know what's going on in your world. And
yeah,
that might be a challenge. So, you know, doesn't have to be online. You can always, I can give you my phone number. You can always pick up the phone and just dial.
That'd be great, Jennifer.
About it.
That'd be great there.
Yeah. I'll send you an email, Sandy.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Before I show you something quickly, I wanted to also give a special shout out to Kristen. So many of you were on the facilitator call a few months ago, I think it was, and Kristen made the mistake when I said we're looking for volunteers to say, oh, I've got some time on my hands, and now she's kind of like got a full-time job and is doing unbelievable stuff to help streamline the organization, support Jennifer, bring new technology to bear. And so you'll see some vast improvements, not because we weren't wonderful already. It's progress, not perfection, but we had a few too many plates spinning. So I just wanted to thank Kristen for all that she's also doing. And you all will be the beneficiaries of a lot of that already and in the future. So thank you. One thing I wanted to just give you a quick update on the self-directed learning program. That is continuing apace, although a little bit stymied because a large portion of it is videos. And I was fortunate enough, Rebecca and I actually were fortunate enough, seems like forever ago now, but I guess it was only a few weeks ago, to have Elaine Miller-Karras in Atlanta She's the creator of resource and grounding, tracking, all of those skills. And so since she was going to be in Atlanta, we trapped her in a room and videoed her, and she and Rebecca spent about an hour chatting. And through that process of chatting, we got her to explain in her words, resourcing, grounding, tracking. She did a grounding and resourcing activity with Rebecca and some other things. And we are now in the process of working with our post-production team in India to chop that up into smaller bite-sized nuggets for skill 1. We had already recorded the videos for skill 3, and we were just had the scripts done for skills 2 and 4, and we're about to head out into the world to do the videoing, and everyone got locked down. So now we're continuing to make progress on skills 1 and 3, which we hope to have a version of to show everybody in the next few weeks, maybe even shorter than that for skill 3. And we're continuing to make, when UNESCO said, hey, can we make a self-directed learning version of this program? And I gave my standard answer, which was sure. I didn't quite realize how much work it was, but we're doing a lot of that work now of defining it. And luckily there's a lot of pre-planning and definition work that we're doing to define what it is we want and spec it out and all that stuff. So that is all going to continue going. And so it'll just be a matter of when. We were hoping in early May to have a version of series 1. That looks doubtful at this point, but we may have skills 1 and 3 to show you at least. And as a special treat, what I thought I'd do is, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want to share with you just some snippets of the video for skill 3. So where is, oh, that's why, there we go. Okay, so here's, oh wait, let me stop sharing that. I got to reshare it with audio. And we're also working with our, we have an instructional designer that we're working with, and he's kind of chopping these up even a little bit more, but here's just a little sample. And we wanted to use the people who are doing the speaking are facilitators. We wanted it to be kind of homegrown and demonstrate what we have around the world, so.
Oh, you're already here. Hi, my name is Renuka, and I'm going to take you on the skill for the day. Are you ready? Okay, so before we move on, let's do a quick recap. If you remember, we started the training with calming body and mind, where we learned some important skills like tracking, how to pay attention to the sensations of our body, to notice when we are in or out of the resilience zone, and then to add on, we did some important skills of resourcing and grounding to bring us back into the resilience zone when we are knocked up or down. In the next skill of ethical mindfulness, we shifted the focus from our bodies to our speech and actions. Here we learned how to have greater heedfulness, mindfulness, and awareness so that we can have better control over our speech and actions, especially when we are in stressful situations.
Okay, so that's just a little bit of that. I want to also then, and remember, this is for everybody, but you can't really make videos for everybody. So the primary target audience is those 18 to 35-year-olds that we're going for. But I would be really remiss if I didn't share this. And he can't get to his computer to unmute and say anything. So after
I can unmute you, Shane.
After you've learned about going from a spark to a forest fire and done activities related to that, we get to this.
Hello there. Throughout this skill, you have been exploring.
By the way, the ball is that they do an activity like we do in skill 3, where you hold a ball and you squeeze it and you relate it. So we use the ball in this one skill as like a through, but you can't use a green ball because the green screen.
The beneficial and harmful mental states, and the way harmful mental states can lead us from a spark to a forest fire. It's now time to learn how we can take a step back and gain more clarity over whether we are actually experiencing a harmful mental state or a beneficial one, so we can be less reactive to the events in our lives. This ability to simply observe what we are experiencing in the present moment without immediately unconsciously reacting to it is equanimity. By allowing ourselves to create a little more space or form a gap between an event and the subsequent reaction to it, we have more space and time to respond in a way that could be more beneficial. The attentional skills we've practiced thus far, including tracking sensations inside the body and focusing our attention on cultivation of mindfulness of the breath, can be directed towards any of the focus. However, to cultivate emotional awareness and equanimity, we turn the focus of our attention to the mind itself.
And last but not least, I'll show you one other thing. By the way, the first version of that, there was a mix-up in communication, and Shane thought that he was directed to dress like kind of like a Swami. And so there's all sorts of B-roll I could send out of Shane is sitting by a river in cross-leg position.
In my defense, Your Honor,
I will use that against him forever.
it would be funny if it wasn't so real that I actually haven't left this room since we recorded that. It's been the same room, same wall.
Oh, that's true.
I was in lockdown. Thank you very much, Michael, for all of that embarrassment.
Luckily, Shane's lovely wife is a videographer, so that's been very helpful. Okay, one last thing, I'll just do this briefly. So, and this I think will be useful for everybody as they share the course, is...
In this video, we will present a useful psychological model to help explain what we experience when we go from a spark to a forest fire. Although this is not an exact replica of what happens in reality, of course, this model can be used to better understand your experience and gain greater emotional awareness. Every experience begins with a context or precondition. This is the state of your body and mind just prior to an event. Next is an event as the precondition for the next moment in your life.
So I won't bore you with the whole thing, but it's a short, hold on. So it's a short video, it's like 5 minutes, but basically it walks us through that in preparation for an activity that people will work on that will be in place of the Spark to Forest Fire improv game that we play. It'll be a sheet that they can either print out or an online form that they can fill out that takes them through that exact model. Like, okay, what was your precondition? Then what was the response that you had? What was maybe some of the things in your own perception database that might have impacted that, things like that, so they can start to understand it for themselves. But anyway, that's it. That was the little surprise I wanted to share with you. Hopefully soon you guys will get into on the beta test and play with the whole thing and give us lots of feedback. And we're really excited, and we're very grateful to our partners at UNESCO for paying for most of that, first of all, and collaborating with us on the development of it. So it should help everyone. So that's it, unless anyone has anything else. It's been really, really wonderful. And I hope we see some people, if you get a chance, on the resiliency calls and in other forum, because I miss you guys. And I think this is a great time for us to be connecting.
Yeah. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.